Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erica and today's video is the bodice for the bustle gown outfit that I am making. So with the scraps that I had left, which I will explain in a minute, I am pleased with what I was able to do with this and I am excited to share it, so let's jump right in. Okay, so I did change my bodice plans to TV403. So I'm going to do this one instead of the other one I picked because I really feel like this one will complement the dress and the stripes a little bit better. So what I'm going to do, I am eking out every square inch of this gold and red stripe fabric from the skirt. I don't have enough to do the whole bodice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the sleeves and the back in something different that I will show in a second, and this vest portion will be in the gold and red stripe, and then this will be this underplay. I can't talk. This under blouse will be white. The other fabric that I'm going to use besides the white, which I have not pulled out for the under blouse, is this gold, which is almost identical to the color of gold in the other fabric. It is close enough for my happiness. Like with the red is slightly different, but I still think that they go together well. Same thing with this gold. So the sleeves and the back will be made out of this gold. This was also theme of my channel, also a thrift store find, and this is only a small portion of it. I don't know exactly how many yards of this there was, but I've got a whole ton of it, so I will be using this. So I think that that's what we're working with for the base fabrics. Oh, and the white, but I don't have it pulled out right now. So before I cut into all of this though, we gotta mock up, because I don't have to mock up the skirt, I have to mock up the blouse. So on to the mock up. Okay, this is mock up number 2. And I think I did pretty good. The only reason I didn't film the first one is because it was too small and I didn't really feel like it was necessary. So I added a little bit of width around here, which was where I needed to. The other big thing that I noticed then is that the waist was too long on the pattern, so I raised it up about an inch, I believe. But those were the two big changes that I made. So I think it looks pretty good now. I like the way that the back looks. I like where this falls. I added a little bit on this piece to bring this underarm seam a little bit more this way because it was further back. So I ended up adding a 1/4 inch to the side and a 1/4 inch to the other side. One thing I don't know about is this seems really like a lot of fabric right here. So I think I'm going to have to cut this piece down, angle it up maybe, and cut a little bit off here and on the other piece, because that's just a lot. But I don't need to completely make a new mock-up for that. That would be just it's a little bit too much fabric, so I cut it off with what I need to do. There is some boning in this pattern, so that'll straighten this out. But yeah, I think for my quick... Oh, and I did have to add a good 2 inches to the sleeve. I have very long arms. And so the sleeves were ridiculously too short. So all this puckering here, you know, this wouldn't be here with boning. I think it's falling exactly where I want it to. I'm very happy with that. So yes, that is where we are. I am gonna go ahead and go figure out what I want to do with the fabric, because I am very, very pleased with this. like I said, I will have to still cut off some here, but I would rather cut the pattern piece a slightly too big than slightly too small. It's always better. So yeah, I think this look is gonna look amazing with the stripes. I'm so excited. That looks so good. All right, back to the sewing room. Well, that took exceedingly long for cutting out fabric, but we have all pieces cut out. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is, not with the sleeves, not with that yet, with this and the back and this piece. So the two side backs, the back and the blouse, I need to flatline all of, not the lining, all of the fabric and the interlining pieces, so the gold and the white, because those are going to be treated as one cut of fabric after I get that done. And before I even start on that, you can't tell, I've got some ironing to do. So I'm going to iron. It was all flat enough for me to cut out the pieces, but I'm not going to try to sew with creases in them. So yes, ironing everything and then flatlining.
Once all of the pieces were flat-lined, then began the process of putting in all the darts, which there were quite a few. Then I pieced all of the pieces together of the bodice except for the vest and the sleeves. After those were pieced together, then I clipped all the curves and notches into the seams and ironed them all flat. There will be a lining that goes on top of this later, but this is what I did for there. Then I went and prepped the vest piece, which involved putting the darts in there, and I used this chalk marking method for those darts. Also for the vest pieces, when I put the lining on them, I actually treated them as one piece. So the dart is sewn all the way through both pieces, which I think you'll be able to see later on in the video. Then after that was done, I sewed with right sides together the facing piece to the vest, which the facing was part of the tablecloth and it went all the way down through the bottom of the vest. Clipped those, turned those right to the wrong side, and then hand stitched all of that down. Then with the lining pieces to the white portion, I sewed them to the red neck facing piece and then sewed those right sides together down the front center and turned it right side out and put boning in the darts of the white portion. Before I put the lining down on the rest of it, I did put a lot of boning in this leftover bone casing from a previous hoop skirt that I made and put it across all of the seams and hand stitched those down to the seam allowances on the inside. Once that was done, then I needed to do this part, which is sewing the lining onto the peplum part of the back of the bodice. And for this portion, again, I used what was left of the tablecloth, and then again clipping and putting notches in, ironing it out, and flipping it to the right side. Once that lining was on, then I put the actual lining on the inside of the bodice, as you see, and everywhere you see the pins, I hand whipped all of that down. Jumping straight to the vest, I put also the boning in those darts as well, and then where that seam I'm showing right there, that and the shoulder seam, I just top stitched, putting the wrong edges inside, and then top stitched it down to the blouse. And then began the sleeves, which I already showed. So where I showed those pins and my fingers, I sewed both the lining and the sleeve, and then right here, once they were all ironed, those seams were all ironed out with right sides together, I sewed the bottom portion of the sleeve up to that slit in the sleeve, and then turned it right side out for this part. Once the sleeves were done, then I pinned them to the arms, making sure not to catch the lining of the sleeve into that seam, because then I used the lining part of the sleeve to hand whip it down on the inside to enclose all raw edges. The last part for this video is to sew all of the hooks and bars on both the vest part and the white part of the blouse, and then all of the decorative buttons on the outside. The buttons on this are purely decorative. I did not put buttonholes in it.
Okay, it has been a minute since I have picked up this project, and I finally got all of the hooks and bars sewn all the way down on the white part, the hooks and bars here, and all the buttons. The problem I see right now is that I don't like where the buttons ended up. I want to move them a lot closer to where they overlap, so it looks more centered and not slightly off. So I'm going to be taking all 6 of these buttons off and doing those again. That's okay, it didn't take too long. The hooks and bars are fine, other than right there. I don't really have room for another hook and bar there, but there needs to be something. So I might put a little tiny hook and eye there though, just something, because that's like right across the bust line, and it's fine if it's being held. So yeah, I think a hook and eye will be fine. Other than that, I am very, very, very happy with how it is fitting. And I can start on decorations and what I want to do with the hem on the skirt. I'm really, really excited. I really don't think that it looks like upholstery fabric and a tablecloth, which was good because that's what I was trying to accomplish. I really love it. It's gotten a little wrinkled sitting on my couch. So I'll probably need to iron it too. But yeah, it's coming together.